What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another video. Today we're going to be talking about long hair and how it's been historically a masculine thing. The reason why I bring up this subject matter in this video is because I work in a professional field. Professionalism is not in favor of men having long hair. As a matter of fact, it's very rare to find someone that has any hair longer than 2 inches in the professional field. And I just wanted to talk about how historically, in many places around the world, it has been synonymous with masculinity to have long hair as a man. So today we'll be going over some examples of men with long hair from around the world and throughout history that have used long hair as a symbol of their masculinity. And we're going to talk about what it represents in some of these cultures. We'll talk about some of the meaningful indications. And with all that being said, I've been growing out my hair for about 3 years now that I can remember. And this is the byproduct of it, you see here. And I've done so many different things with my hair. I love to switch it up. I love to do different hairstyles and things like that. And to me, my hair is very important. It's very symbolic to me. It's very meaningful to me. It is a way for me to connect with my ancestors and with the natural world. Typically, animals don't cut their hair. And us as human beings, we have the ability to grow hair in some parts of our body more than others, and one of those being our head. And I think that there's significance in having long hair. It connects us to the environment. I can feel more of the wind blowing in my hair. I can feel, water when my hair is soaked. Just about everything is more intimate when you have long hair as far as the natural environment goes. So for me, that's a very important aspect of it. Now, typically when people think of men with long hair, they usually think of North American Native Americans. And it's fine and dandy. That is one area of the world where men typically had long hair. But I could really give you an example of every inhabited continent on the planet where men historically had long hair as a symbol of masculinity. So not only did Native Americans in North America tend to have many cultures where men had long hair, but as well as South American Native Americans and Caribbean Islander Native Americans had long hair. But apart from the typical image of the red man savage with long hair, which historically has been used, that image of, a wild man with long hair covered in war paint, savage, whatever. That image is a way to distance oneself from another culture. It's another way to basically antagonize a group of people by having a physical difference between the two. And that's one of the differences that, generally speaking, used to kind of distance oneself from, savage and civilized. But enough about that. If we also were to dive more into European history, we'd know that the Germanic tribes actually had long hair and styled it in various ways, including the Swabian knot, which to them represented wisdom as well as their ferocity, adding to their animal-like appearance on the battlefield. Men in many Celtic tribes actually had long hair as well, or medium long hair, and Iberian tribes as well also tended to have long hair, which they tended to tie back in a ponytail, and they also did some braiding as well. Now, again, many of these people I'm describing so far, just to remind you, very masculine men, warriors, all of the like, chieftains. So, again, long hair historically, Europe has also been a very masculine thing. However, we tend to disassociate from that with the whole concept of, who's civilized, who's not. But moving forward, we'll go down to North Africa where we have the Berber Numidian cultures where men, had wild, crazy, curly hair, riding on the battlefield on their horses. We have the Kemetic cultures of Northeast Africa, or, what most people understand as Egypt. Men had long hair. Now, going into West Africa, we're going to talk about some folklore a little bit, but this was also practiced within some of society as well. But there is a character, not a character, but there is an Orisha, which is a deity, somewhat like a demigod, if you will, that existed here and then transcended into an omnipresent natural force. And this natural force slash ancestor of the Yoruba people is none other than Shango, who has been often depicted with having long hair. It's said in his stories that he had long hair or braided hair, cornrows. And so in the Yoruba culture, at least back then, it was a masculine trait for men to have long hair as well. And like many cultures that I've mentioned before, as well as this one that I'm talking about presently in West Africa, all of these cultures and all the cultures I'm going to continue to mention, the discipline of taking care of your hair is very important. You see, having long hair requires maintenance, it requires attention, requires you to, maintain it. So having long hair is a part of the discipline that one may only attribute to, being clean shaven and shaving your head every morning. Well, it's a discipline as well for men in many of these ancient societies to maintain their hair, to maintain it clean, to make sure their scalps are nice and oiled or whatever it was in their region, how they took care of their hair. This was a very important part of men maintaining their hair, henceforth representing that discipline. So it's not an undisciplined, lazy hairstyle to have long hair. It takes a lot of maintenance. It takes a lot of attention to maintain long hair. But moving forward, let's go ahead and talk about some of the cultures in Asia where we have people like the Sikhs and other people in India that it is a tradition for men to have very long hair, as well as steppe and basin cultures like the Mongols. They had long hair, masculine men riding into battle, crazy hair, long hair. You see, there's kind of a pattern with that whole image. When we when we think of people riding into battle on horses, they typically have long hair. Very ferocious. This whole image, this comes from many historical accounts of different people from different cultures that kind of had that same mentality of going into battle looking ferocious, having long hair, all of those things. Now, I'll stop boring you with the history part of this in a second by just bringing up some more Polynesian cultures like the Fijians or Samoans or the Maori, where men were also known to have long hair. This was an important part of their culture, especially in Fiji, where they had these perfectly maintained afros. And if I had a pick and my hair was completely dry, I'd show you what that looked like, because when I lived in Hawaii, most people thought that I was Fijian or Samoan. So anyways, with the historical portion out of the way, let's go into more of what is the significance of masculinity being attributed with long hair and why it's not wrong for masculine men to have long hair. So apart from the discipline factor, some of the historical examples I gave and the nature stuff that I mentioned earlier, another cool part about representing masculinity through having long hair is that it shows people that you don't give a fuck. Because nowadays, people tend to, like I said earlier in the video, they think that you're unprofessional, they think that you're lazy, they think that you're feminine for having long hair and all of that. And I know exactly who I am. I know exactly the reason why I grow my hair out, and that's personal to me. And you shouldn't have these preconceived notions about me because I have long hair, but it's okay if you do, because I know what I'm capable of and I know what I can do. So I don't let that really affect me, because to me, my long hair is more important than someone's stupid opinion based on the stupid concept that goes back to the whole civilized and savage mindset that has affected people's minds for however many hundreds of years or whatever. This is all historic relativism, where we just assume that men have short hair, women have long hair, and that's what it is. And sometimes in other cultures, it'll actually be the opposite. And that can be endemic to that particular group. But nonetheless, all I'm saying is that you can still have long hair and be a man, be a real man, a rugged, tugged, tough man. A lot of people that know me personally actually associate me with being extremely masculine, and I'm very proud of that. But nonetheless, I don't allow myself to fall victim to people's misunderstandings or lack of wanting to understand, part of the reason why I grow my hair. That's perfectly fine if they don't care to understand, as long as they can respect me and my hair. Don't touch my hair, leave me alone. You can have your short hair if you want to. And again, I'm not ragging on people that have short hair. It's fine if you have short hair. I'm not saying, you're like less than me for having short hair. I don't feel like I'm more special than anybody for having long hair. I'm just simply bringing up these ideas about, men being less masculine for having long hair and dismissing them because they're not true. My relationship with me being a truly masculine man that people feel safe around, that people feel can protect them, that I feel confident in myself, I feel confident in making decisions on the fly and doing dangerous things when I got to do them, and so on and so forth. For me to be in that mind frame, to me personally, it's important to look back at some of the origins and some of the ways that we used to live, and kind of bring that into my philosophy and how I choose to represent that masculinity to the world, as it is a very important part of my life. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of what I have to say for this video. If you enjoyed it, please leave a like, comment, share, all that good stuff. A lot of you people that are watching my video are not subscribed, so please subscribe if you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more videos like this. Also, if you come from a culture where men grow out their hair very long and there's a significance behind it that I didn't mention or didn't bring up in this video, please leave it in a comment below. I'd be very interested to study and find out more about different representations of men having long hair across the world. Make sure you stay tapped into your roots, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.